In today's show, President Trump hints at a Gaza peace plan, scientists report a first-ever win against Huntington's, and college football serves up a stacked top 25 lineup. Plus, late-night TV is back, a rogue squirrel is on the attack, and Trump's Ryder Cup flyover had fans buzzing. And here's the trivia question. What was the original name for the fall season? It's Saturday, September 27th. This is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Hello and welcome to the weekend Saturday edition of the Flyover Podcast. I'm Ayla Brown, and usually I'm the weekday host, but I'm filling in for Amy Hess today. So is this what it's like to wake up on a Saturday with you? Not bad. Let's have a fun day. Get ready for takeoff. President Trump says he's, quote, very close to brokering a peace deal to end the war in Gaza and bring all hostages home. Speaking to reporters on Friday, he hinted that his 21-point plan, outlined earlier this week at the UN with Arab leaders, includes a full return of hostages, a halt to Israeli strikes on Qatar, and new talks between Israel and the Palestinians aimed at lasting coexistence. He's scheduled to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday to keep those negotiations moving. More details about this story can be found in today's show notes. In health news, scientists are celebrating a major breakthrough for Huntington's disease. A one-time gene therapy called AMT-130 slowed disease progression by an incredible 75% over 3 years in a small trial at University College London. The lead researcher called the results game-changing, noting one patient who had retired because of symptoms has actually been able to return to work. Huntington's disease occurs when a faulty gene causes toxic proteins to damage brain cells. The disease typically appears in mid-adulthood, causing problems with movement, memory, and mood, and is normally fatal within 20 years. And it's a monster Saturday for college football. 4 top 25 matchups headline the schedule. Number 6, Oregon heads to Penn State's famous whiteout. Number 5, Georgia hosts number 17, Alabama in a battle of heavyweights. Number 4, LSU visits number 13, Ole Miss. And number 1, Ohio State travels to Washington, while number 9, Texas A&M looks to hold off Auburn at home. Expect playoff implications all day long. What team are you rooting for, by the way? The comments section is always open. Here are your top political headlines today. President Trump announced a steep new trade move. Starting October 1st, the U.S. will slap a 100% tariff on branded and patented pharmaceutical imports. He says the goal is to push drug makers to open plants in the U.S., and companies that do will be exempt from the tariff. Economists note it could raise prices in the short term, but might boost domestic production over time. At the United Nations, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faced a dramatic mass walkout as he condemned countries that recently recognized a Palestinian state. The walkout included several European and Middle Eastern delegations, highlighting how divided the UN remains over the conflict. Back home, Tennessee Governor Bill Lee announced a major federal surge to fight violent crime in Memphis. The plan will bring in more than a dozen federal agencies and additional federal troops beyond just the National Guard after a spike in shootings and carjackings across the city. And in Oklahoma, State Superintendent Ryan Walters is stepping down to lead a new conservative group called the Teacher Freedom Alliance. Walters, who recently pushed to add Bible lessons to public schools, says his next mission is, in his words, to, quote, destroy the teachers' unions, setting up another clash over education policy nationwide. Welcome to Podcast Extra, where I'll give you some bonus stories that you won't find in the Flyover email edition. Let's start with late night TV. Sinclair and Nexstar are putting Jimmy Kimmel Live back on their ABC stations after days of blacking it out over Kimmel's remarks about Christian conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Disney's ABC network had already suspended the show for nearly a week, but Tuesday's return drew more than 6 million viewers, even with the blackout. Sinclair says it worked out a new accountability and community feedback measures with ABC, while Nexstar credited Disney executives for hearing their concerns. Both companies insist their original decision wasn't driven by government pressure, despite an FCC official suggesting station licenses could be at risk. From TV drama to real-life wildlife drama, a rogue squirrel is terrorizing a neighborhood in San Rafael, California. Locals say the animal has attacked at least 5 people, sending 2 to the ER. One resident described the squirrel latching onto her leg and refusing to let go, while another said it jumped at her face and left her arm bloody. Wildlife officials note that squirrel attacks are uncommon and often assign this animal as either sick or protecting a nest, and they're advising residents to keep food and trash sealed until the animal is captured. And finally, golf fans got a surprise flyover. President Trump made a dramatic entrance at the Ryder Cup on Long Island, flying Air Force One low over the Bethpage Black course before joining the crowd. The plane's pass drew both cheers and boos from fans below. Once on the ground, Trump mingled with players on the first tee under heavy security, complete with rooftop snipers and Secret Service on the fairways. His drop-in added even more spectacle to an already high-energy start to golf's most patriotic event. Coming up, Britain moves to digital IDs, the Lakers lock in their coach, and the Southeast braces for a storm that could become a hurricane. And a big thanks to our sponsor, Native Path Collagen. Discover Native Path Collagen made with only type 1 and 3 collagen fibers, the 2 most important types that make up 90% of the collagen in your body. It's found in your cartilage, bones, skin, hair, nails, and guts. And types 1 and 3 provide maximum benefits without the need for unnecessary fillers. Native Path Collagen is a single ingredient formula with no fillers, additives, or artificial sweeteners. Plus, it's third-party tested for heavy metals, ensuring purity and safety. It's completely flavorless and it can be added to anything. I put it in my coffee every single morning. I really do love it. I feel like my hair has grown so long since starting it and my nails look really nice and strong. And the best part, Native Path offers amazing bundle deals, which I have taken advantage of. With this special link, you can get 3 or 6 packs at a fraction of the price of other brands. There's over 4 million jars sold, 1 million happy customers, 8,000 5-star reviews, and a 365-day no-risk guarantee. Go to getnativepathcollagen.com/flyover to get yours today. All the info, by the way, is in the show notes below. Here's how the market closed on Friday. The Nasdaq gained 0.44%, the S&P 500 climbed 0.59%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.65%. In commodities, Bitcoin edged up 0.25%, while gold jumped 1.56% to $3,795 per ounce. Now for some international news, here's what's happening beyond our borders. The UK government says British citizens and residents will soon need digital ID cards to get a job, part of a new plan to crack down on illegal immigration. Officials told the BBC the rollout will start next year and link directly to employers' payroll systems so companies can instantly verify work eligibility. In Egypt, a powerful boiler explosion at a textile dye plant triggered a fire that killed 11 people and injured 33. Local news reports say the blast in Sharqiya province was so strong it brought down part of the building, and investigators are now looking into lax safety standards. And in Slovakia, Parliament passed a constitutional amendment defining only 2 sexes, male and female, while also restricting adoption to heterosexual couples and banning surrogacy. Reuters notes it passed by just 2 votes, reflecting a broader conservative shift in Central Europe, similar to measures seen recently in Hungary and Poland. In sports, the MLB regular season wraps up this weekend with several teams still fighting for the final wild card spots. The Yankees and Blue Jays have already clinched, but will battle for the AL East crown, while the Guardians and Tigers vie for the AL Central title and a wild card berth. In the National League, the last wild card remains undecided as the Mets, Reds, and Diamondbacks chase the final spot, with the Cubs and Padres competing for home field advantage in the opening series. Check the show notes below for all of the full playoff standings. And in the NBA, the Lakers locked in coach J.J. Redick with a new deal, but GM Rob Pelinka says LeBron James will get all the time he needs to decide on his future with the franchise, saying, quote, "The first thing we want to do in terms of LeBron and his future is just give him absolute respect to choose his story." Here are some additional stories we thought you should know about today. A developing storm off the southeast coast could strengthen into a Category 1 or 2 hurricane early next week. Emergency crews in the Carolinas are already staging sandbags, high-water vehicles, and pumps as forecasts show the system could bring heavy rain and coastal flooding. In Germany's Baltic Sea, a World War II munitions dump filled with old bombs, TNT, and even chemical weapons has turned into an unexpected haven for marine life. Divers say fish, crabs, and rare sponges are thriving on corroding warheads, creating a strange underwater ecosystem. And researchers have shared insights into the remarkable life of 117-year-old Maria Brañas Moreira, who recently passed away as the world's oldest person. They found her longevity owed a lot to genetics, a daily yogurt habit, and her lifelong avoidance of smoking and alcohol. Rest in peace. Here are the results of yesterday's poll question. How many states have you visited? 21% said 41 to 49 states. 20% said 11 to 20, 19% said 21 to 30 states, 18% said 31 to 40, 12% said 1 to 10, and just 10% of you have been to all 50 states. Wow, what an accomplishment. That must be incredible to check every single one off of your bucket list. Thank you to all of you who voted, and here is today's poll question. Which tech convenience would you give up first? And be honest, would it be GPS navigation, streaming TV services, online shopping, text messages, other, or none? I love them all. This is a hard one, but I would definitely give up online shopping. I don't think any of us should be buying things online, even though I am guilty of it. We should support so many small businesses, and we would by shopping locally and in person. So keep that in mind next time you buy something on your device. What about you? You can vote in the show notes below, and Amy Hess will be back tomorrow, and we'll read the answers in tomorrow's show. The links to vote are in the show notes. For trivia, what was the original name for the fall season? The answer, the third season of the year was known as harvest in England before the founding of America and before the terms fall or autumn came into use. It was the first of the year when farmers gathered and prepared their crops for winter storage, hence the name harvest. But by the 19th century, fall had become an Americanism and autumn was more commonly used in England. I learned something every day. That is it for today's Flyover. Don't forget to subscribe to the Flyover YouTube page if you're not a subscriber already. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, don't forget to rate the show with a 5-star review. It was so fun being with you on a Saturday, but don't worry, Amy Hess is back tomorrow with the headlines. I'll see you bright and early on Monday morning. Until then, thanks for flying with us.